So, a little while back, I uploaded a setup guide for the Project 64 Nintendo 64 emulator, and I've investigated new projects on the scene, and I've come across a really good new emulator. And funny enough, it's been updated 4 days ago from recording this video, and this is Simple64. So, in this setup guide, I'm going to get you running N64 games, and I'm going to get you some really good video configurations. So, check this video out. Okay, so first things first, if you like what you see on my channel today, hit notifications and also subscribe. I'm always uploading emulation retro content. And also check out my other videos in my playlist. I mainly cover front-end systems such as RetroBat, RetroArch, Batacera, and many different standalone emulators. So check those out. So we're on to Simple64 today, and you can grab this from the official Simple64 website, and I'm going to leave the link in my description for this one. So as I was saying a few days ago from recording this video, this one actually had an update, and it's got a few different changes on it, and you can read through this. So what we're going to do, we're going to download this emulator. Just click on the link here, and it's going to give you some directions what to do here to download it. And just bear in mind, this one also runs with Linux as well. So for this, I'm going to use my Windows 11 laptop, and I'm going to download this .zip file just here. And as we can see, this one was updated 4 days ago. So the funny thing is with Simple64 is that it's a little bit more demanding on your hardware, such as your CPU and GPU. So once that's been downloaded, you will download yourself a zipped file, and all we're going to do with this is extract it. So as you can see, I use WinRAR, and if you're using another extraction tool, it's going to work out the same. So we just need to extract this, and extract here, and that's going to generate a folder, and we can now delete that zipped file that we just downloaded. And if we take a look what's in Simple64, we've got everything in here we need. Now, whilst I'm in here, what I'm going to do is just create a new folder. So right click and new and folder. I'm going to just call this one games, and you can call that whatever you want. But the purpose of this is to obviously drag our games into it. So drag your games into whichever folder you've created. And if I back out of that, what we're going to do now is just double left click on the Simple64 graphical user interface, and that's obviously GUI. So double left click on that one, and this is it. So we're in. Now with most emulators, you normally have a full screen option, and things seem a little bit more simplified, but to manipulate settings for video, that type of thing with Simple64, we've actually got to type in dimensions, the width and height of how we want this presented. So first of all, I'm going to just quickly load up the game. So file, open ROM, and it's on my desktop, and as we know, we put that games folder inside Simple64, and here it is. So here's my game, Super Mario 64.
Okie dokie.
So I just press escape to exit that, and as you can see, that's crystal clear quality. And what I've done is just messed around with the settings for that. So if you go to the settings section at the top and just scroll down to core and video settings, The one we want to look for here to mess around with video settings is the second tab along, say video. And obviously I've got this one on full screen, but once you download this, it won't be checked. So if you want that into full screen, obviously check this one. Now, when you download this by default, upscaling is going to be either on 0 or 1. So as default, it's going to give you a very bad quality picture, unlike what you've just seen. And also VSync is going to be turned off too. So VSync is going to reduce screen tear. So just make sure you check this one. Now, this is the part just here that we can change the size of our screen. So by default, this is the width of 640 by 437. I'm going to make this into a 1080p display. If I type in 1920 by 1080, that's now going to give us a ratio of 1080p. And we can also check widescreen stretch just here. And if you mess this up at any point, you can just hit reset all settings at the bottom and that will default everything. So let's just close out of here. So just remember to check full screen if that's what you want. And obviously, if you leave upscaling onto the digit 1, then it's going to be poor quality versus something like a 5 or even 10. So let's close this down. And I'm going to go to File, Open ROM, and open up my Mario game.
It's me, Mario! Okay.
So as you can see, that's displaying really well there, and that's in 1080p with scaling settings obviously upscaled. And lastly, I just want to talk to you about controller settings. So I've got my PlayStation 3 6-axis wired controller plugged in through USB, and it picked it up automatically and it works fine. But if you find your controller doesn't respond properly, then it's just a case of go to settings, controller configuration, and under gamepad, you should see your gamepad here somewhere. Mine says Xbox 360, but I've used a strange driver to get my PlayStation 3 compatible with Windows 11. So select your controller if it's there. And what you can do next is go to Manage Profiles and just go to New Profile for gamepad. And from here, give it a profile name, so call it N64 or whatever you wish. And then it's just a case of going through each button, which is from the N64 gamepad. So go to A and select whichever button you want by pressing it on your controller, and just follow this process all the way through. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it for a good setup. And just make a note that you've got the analog sensitivity just here. Now, just remember the N64 controller had one analog pad on it, which was in the middle, and sometimes on some games it was a little bit sensitive and a bit stiff on others. My experience from having this by default to 100% works fine, so you can drag this up and down. So once you've done all this, just go and save and close. So that's it for my Simple 64 setup guide today with some advanced video settings going on there. So if you are new to my channel, just hit notifications and make sure to subscribe. I'm always uploading emulation related content, retro that is. And also join me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter. But until next time, stay retro.